Need exercise. The need exercise is loved by actors for its clear and useful role in making you experience the most basic human needs with improvised behaviors, impulses, and motivations. By acting out the chosen need, you inhabit the character non-intellectually, instinctively, and with ease so that you can connect with an emotional state of being that may change with the transitional moments in the script. The need exercise was taught to me by the acclaimed actress and acting teacher Kim Stanley. Kim put the need exercise into practice in her private classes in New York, Los Angeles, and Santa Fe during the years following her phenomenal acting career. Her iconic work, during the golden age of television, on Broadway, and in films led to Tony and Academy Award nominations, 2 Emmy Awards, and a New York Film Critics Circle Award. Kim dazzled the critics and captivated her audiences, and she was one of the most gifted American method actresses of her time. Her emotionally expressive work should be studied by actors. When you work with the ideas and techniques built into her need exercise, spontaneous gestures and impulses will arise. Strasberg also emphasized that every character in a scene should have one or more distinct needs to fit the emotional beats, not just the lines to lead them through the action or the event. As with much of the method work, the need exercise is instrumental in helping you break away from the clichéd meaning of the lines, which prevents truth in expression and contributes to stencil-like behavior. According to Stanislavski, the clichéd meaning of the lines can impair your expression by locking the muscles of the tongue, which are deeply ingrained and so susceptible to habit that creativity can be blocked. By learning the non-verbal expression of the need, you release the reliance on the trap of the lines by creating the feelings before you say the line. Strasberg liked to say that the thought before the line, not the line, then the thought. Vakhtangof's lectures also address the issue of character motivation, using words and ideas such as tasks, desires, actions, and goals as need-like behavior and line inspiration. This comports with Stanislavski's idea that the best way to handle motivation was to use active verbs to describe intention. Kim used different needs in her classes over the years, depending on when you had the good fortune to study with her. She mentioned that, in her own work, she especially liked to use to seduce in order to destroy, both of which are needs. There is use of both needs in the role of Frances Farmer's mother in the 1982 movie Frances, for which both Kim and her beloved student Jessica Langer received Oscar nominations. During my time of study with Kim, we used the following 15 needs, all active verbs and emotional states of being. You express the need non-verbally at first, through responsive physical and emotional behavior, by which you create greater depth than if you relied primarily on the conventional saying of the lines. The 15 needs are: to love, to comfort, to lust, to seduce, to entertain, to celebrate the nature of the other person, to loathe, to accuse, to plead or beg, to destroy, to charm, to humiliate, to entice, to reveal oneself, to amuse. The need exercise differs from the other method exercises that start with a specific object, place, overall sensation, a work of art, an animal, or other things to stimulate the emotions. With the need exercise, the departure point itself is an inner action, or emotional core, which justifies the character's behavior and reveals their motivations related to the character's spine. Feel free to use the word desire or want in place of need, if that helps you. It isn't the word itself that's important, but the intensity of what it means to you. The word need is more visceral than the words intention, objective, or wants, all of which can seem vague, more in the mind and less active, while need is more consequential, even potentially suggesting a matter of survival. There may be similarities and overlapping among the needs, or perhaps there could be other possible needs on the list. That's fine, but begin by learning these 15 to fuel an infinite range of spontaneous and expressive behaviors. If you think of one that isn't on the list, try it and find out if it works for you. In the beginning of the exercise, without speaking, you must use your imagination to develop nonverbal communication and behaviors for you to use to express each need vividly. It's important to understand that there are an infinite number of choices that can serve as a catalyst to stimulate the intricacies of the creative process. By applying this technique, you're able to shift between contradictory impulses and behaviors at will. The motivations of your characters may change from scene to scene and line to line. The transitions are linked by story and subtext. One moment, for example, to entertain can be your need, while next, your need may be to humiliate, or be the dominant one in the scene to convey power, or in another moment to convey meekness. As with Kim's seduce in order to destroy, there are other needs that can be contradictions, or embody veiled motives, which create the raw material for heightened drama. Primarily, the active physical expression of your need gets you out of your head and into your body with impulses to feed your thinking and the choices you make to motivate the character. In a related exercise, Kim had us say the same line entering on stage each time using a different need and weather condition. This taught us that there are numerous ways to say the same line. Try saying I love you or I hate you, motivated by each need separately, experiencing for yourself the different possibilities. The chosen need motivates the line and washes it with meaning, not the verbal emphasis, indication, or empty gestures that may come with mere rote repetition. By using the need exercise, you discover the behavior and subtext that drives the character. Exercise instructions. When you're not working on a specific scene, and just practicing the exercise, you may choose the need to work with or the teacher can privately tell you which one to use. I advise actors to choose needs that may be difficult, or contrary to their own nature. Over time you'll practice all the needs in combination with many different partners. The actors are selected two at a time by the teacher to perform the exercise, and are seated in front of the class on black boxes, or chairs a few feet from each other, both facing forward toward the rest of the class, which is viewed as the audience. You bring a simple object, a prop up with you. The prop doesn't have to be selected in advance, and it can be anything as simple as a pen, book, papers, a flower, keys, anything that might help you express the need you choose. When the teacher says to proceed, the actors begin by letting the need percolate inside them for a minute or two before making contact with each other. Don't rush it. Without speaking or mouthing the words, the actor is forced to communicate their chosen need only through gestures and behavior. It can't be a mental image, where you're just sitting and thinking. The need exercise is initially a silent improvisation, with only the body, props, and impulses to express the need, which should always be directed toward the person you're working with. Since you can't speak, you're forced to internalize the feeling, activating behavior. During the improvisation, no matter how the other person is acting toward you, don't drop your chosen need. However, you must acknowledge and listen well to your partner and respond accordingly by including them in your reality. You have to be inventive to keep active and not become static. Keep trying to communicate your need, even though it might be difficult. Remember, your need is to love the other person, to seduce the other person, or to destroy the other person. It's always an action directed toward your scene partner. You can also direct your need toward a god, a predicament, the universe, an ideology, or a country, but for now, direct your need toward the other person. When your need is established, you get up and move around and make actual physical contact as a means of expressing your need. However, the actors and the teacher have a responsibility in this regard. You must avoid any excessive physical behavior. If I see the behavior is heading in that direction, I'll say no physical contact. By restricting the physicality, you're forced to find new means of expression for those same impulses. If you and another actor are working together on a need exercise outside of class, while preparing for class, or rehearsing a scene without the supervision of a teacher, each of you is responsible for establishing and enforcing the no excessive physicality ground rules. There must be trust and awareness among artists. While there is a wide range of responses from which you can choose, you can't turn your back on a person, ignore the other person, or walk away, although these occur during real-life situations. We don't engage in these actions during the need exercise, because ignoring someone is not one of the needs and limits response. If you catch yourself walking away, or ignoring your partner, simply stop, relax, and choose another action to convey your need. Interpreting and breaking down the script and finding the changes, or beats, and the transitional moments is essential to help you identify when needs change. As you perfect your use of the exercise, you can incorporate variations of 2 and then 3 needs, if they are called for. Your character's need can be juxtaposed to your partner's need to inspire pure improvisations that create the drama. You can use the exercise as a rehearsal procedure by playing the entire scene silently, following the beats, and using the needs to guide you, not the lines. If you are in class, the teacher can complicate the exercise further by adding additional circumstances, such as a weather condition, a place, or a physical mannerism. For example, you can be acting out the need to destroy with someone while you're both in a cold place. Each of the added levels of complexity forces a greater concentration. Eventually, 3 or more actors can perform the exercise all together, switching the person to whom they're expressing their needs. The procedure isn't exact, and combinations, adjustments, and what might best suit a teacher or yourself is open if you want to work this way. 2 partners may coincidentally have the same need in a scene which, of course, often is the case in real life. Each scene partner must focus on conveying their own version of their need, and this can sometimes result in the actors trying to outdo each other with re-emphasizing and repeating behaviors. Listen carefully and let your partner lead you to find new ways to behave in pursuit of your need. I once picked a young actress to do a need exercise with a slightly nerdy guy who had good acting ability. She chose to seduce as her need. He later told the class that he was so flustered he was unable to convey his need. He totally froze, panicked, and was embarrassed, but he seemed to be enjoying himself with her seductive behavior. After a moment, I whispered to him that he should do the need to entertain, and I told him to relax and take a few easy breaths. He got himself back together, and he was able to entertain her as she continued doing a very convincing job of trying to seduce him. He had the ability to spontaneously shift his focus and gain his composure, and not be made incapacitated or swallowed up by what she was doing. Your commitment is the operative idea here, the necessity of staying with your need at all costs while adapting to your scene partner. When the exercise is going well and both people are actively expressing their respective needs, I'll direct them to add gibberish in order to use the voice as part of the expression. Gibberish is unintelligible or meaningless speech. While the very idea of gibberish seems, and is, funny, it's also an important method training procedure used in place of actual words. Using gibberish provides the opportunity for vocalizing pure impulses to express the need of the character. When working on a scene, you can slowly start to add the lines when you are completely filled up by your chosen need. You can practice the need exercise outside of class, in rehearsals, or if you're at home alone by using an imaginary partner and determining what needs are most prominent and could work for your scene. Once learned, you can use the exercise quickly when you may have a limited amount of time to prepare, such as for auditions, or in major transitions or beats, where a complete change in emotional intensity or demeanor needs to spontaneously occur. For example, if a director wants you to try the character using 3 dramatically different personalities, the need exercise is a technique that can be used to shift moods quickly and effortlessly, say, from comic to serious to psychotic. By choosing 3 very different needs such as to love, to accuse, or to humiliate, the acting for each could achieve strikingly different values and behaviors. The director can become aware of your versatility and be provided with possible insights about you and the part. The need exercise is excellent for directors to help actors psychologically understand the things they are being directed to do. A director can simply ask an actor, whether method trained or not, to focus on what need motivates the character. The scene partners can be told to go off and do an improvisation expressing their needs without words. That prompt alone may help you shed light on what needs have to be conveyed to create the drama. The improvisation will almost certainly result in you being more expressive in your acting for that scene. As the director, you may also suggest privately what need they should each work with. Strasberg would make the distinction for us between needs and objectives, saying he rarely used the term objective, because he said if a director supplies you with an objective, such as telling you to get angry, it could translate into a very mechanical portrayal of the anger. For example, Blanche in Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire has a character spine that includes being desperate to be protected from life and the world. That characterization of Blanche could be fed by one or more needs such as to charm, to plead, to seduce, or to entertain depending on how the characters are played, at what moment during the play, and what the director is after. Contributing to the expressiveness was the New Orleans heat, humidity, and social prejudice permeating everything. For the playwright, the need exercise has an interesting potential. Having developed a vision for the story and characters, the playwright can use the need exercise to go through the exploration for character spines, possible dialogue, behaviors, and storyline. The author, too, is limited to the words, lines, and stage directions to create the full power of the scene, and relies on the actors to bring it to life. Having taken the playwright's work one step closer to fully defined characters, by using the needs helps add the human elements as meaningfully and powerfully as they are intended by the playwright. In Kim Stanley's classes, the improvisation could last as long as an hour before adding gibberish. The bar was set high by Kim to embody the need fully. Only then were the words of the scene or monologue added. Kim also reminded us to pay special attention to the needs most unlike our natural personality. In my classes, scheduling does not permit a full hour, however, ultimately each actor can only try and evaluate which need works for their specific character in any given moment.